Welcome to this Thursday night hand raise, guys. This edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Parham and Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio here with you. We'll probably take some calls. We'll go over whatever we feel like are the news of the last couple days. Since we've been in the studio together, we also have some snacks from Japan. One of our favorite subscribers, Chuck Fennell, stationed over there. He sent us a care package, so we'll have a bit of a mukbang with some of the things from that package. Neal, I did not bring mine. Neal also has his individual package with some stuff in it as well. So we'll do that. We'll hang out with you here in a little bit. Internet fell through for a second. I hope that's not a sign of things to come, but I think we're okay.
It got weird on my Peloton ride a little while ago, so hopefully it's all going to be okay.
Well, this morning, I got up, and you have Max South now on at least one of your wireless systems.
Oh,
yes. You have multiple.
Yes, we're braced for the worst.
You
here,
have AT&T and Max South. When I logged on, the internet was not out because I reset everything, and I said, okay, it's not out, but something's up. And I did a speed test, and it was 1 and 0. And I went, okay, well that's not good. That's not enough. 1 and 0 is definitely not enough. That's not going to cut it. But we appear to be in a little better shape there now. Neal is wearing.
Can I drink with this thing? How does this work?
Neal wearing one of the masks that was issued to the U.S. military overseas is what he has on right now. So
it's my haircut.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't even want to know.
You don't want to know?
Nope.
It's one of those days you're like, nope, I'm just.
I'm good. This is podcast number 4. I'm good.
4 today.
I've done 4. I've done 3. This is my 4th today. I taped a soft verbal with Zach, and I taped a beer garden with Jeffrey, and I taped the Oxford Exxon Podcast with Ryan Brown. So I've talked for about 3.5 hours today.
Ryan Brown is up now. That's an Oxford Exxon podcast. It's already there. What was sort of the main things with Ryan?
Oh, we talked about COVID, about what has to happen for football to come back, the media's role in this. Ryan and I are pretty aligned politically. He agrees with a lot of my takes on the media. He actually has stronger takes than I do. And we talked about the NBA thing with Adrian Wojnarowski, which you and I have not talked about. And talked a little bit about what we do as a business if there's no football.
Did you get some answers there?
No.
Those will be good.
No,
so
not really.
What do you got? What do you got there?
They basically have just started those meetings in much the same way that you and I have just started those meetings.
Yeah, I mean, it's about community, but there's no answer. I mean, it is what it is.
No, I mean, there's no answer. There's no easy. Let's rephrase that. There's no easy answer. There's hard answers. There's you figure it out answers. There's you survive answers. But there's no easy answer. A lot of bad signs today. Today wasn't a good day. No way around it.
It's like every day is like there's something every day. You feel a little better one day, you feel worse the next day. This thing. Yes, Woj will be back at ESPN. They're not firing Woj. It was they are winning a PR thing by even suspending him. Frankly, they didn't want to do that.
Good thing he said it to a Republican and not like AOC or something, because he'd have lost his gig then.
You think so?
There's no doubt in my mind.
Do you really?
No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, he'll be back. There's no doubt with that. I think that's probably pretty true. So, let's see what else we got. Let's see, let me find it here. A couple different news things. This is from the governor of Connecticut today. He said that he would be reluctant to allow UConn's football team to travel to any state with a high coronavirus infection rate this fall. UConn, which is scheduled to play its first season as independent after leaving the American, has road games scheduled at Virginia, Mississippi, North Carolina, and San Jose State. Lamont said that should the team travel and infection rates remain high in any of the states where it plays, The Huskies will be subject to Connecticut's 14-day quarantine upon returning to stores. Quote, my feeling is that if you go to a highly infected state that is still part of our quarantine, that would be the requirement. Sometimes these teams live within their bubbles. That's a form of self-quarantining, but I'd be reluctant to allow them to travel, he said there. So, look, I do not think the Connecticut game is getting played. That is homecoming for Ole Miss. I really do not expect that. I think if there's a non-conference game, it's Baylor, and that is the end of it there. And frankly, I don't even necessarily expect that right now.
Yeah, I don't think the Baylor game will be played. I think it's possible that I misinterpreted something that I was told a week ago when I was down in Florida. I don't think the game's going to be played in Houston if it's played. That might have been what was trying to be communicated to me. Ole Miss, to full disclosure, and I wrote this on the website, Ole Miss immediately communicated with me on that Friday and said they've not had those conversations.
Well, Ole Miss would like to play the game because they get about $2.7 million to play that game.
In Houston.
Well, yeah. There's a game guarantee of 2.75, 2.7, something like that for that game. Yeah, I don't know what would happen if that thing's moved to another location, things like that. I have no clue. But
saw where Stephen Godfrey wrote Monday. He was kind of ahead on some of this about the ACC and the Big 12 and the SEC working in concert. He wrote that he did not think if that game were played that it would be in Houston. He thought it would either be in Oxford or Waco.
Okay. I have a little more in the morning about some of the financial stuff surrounding Ole Miss. We mentioned the other day that I was going to look into kind of what other schools had done from cuts to is it even possible? Does it make any sense if sports do have to be cut, and what potentially would trigger that? So more of that tomorrow at rebelgrove.com. Neil will have food for thought in the morning, I assume, on this Friday morning.
Yeah, I'll have to wake up in the morning and see if I have some thoughts.
You don't have it all done yet?
I haven't even typed the first letter.
So you don't know. You don't even have the thought to then proceed.
No, and that's the crappy part is that knowing me, I will lay in the bed tonight and wake up repeatedly because I'll be writing food for thought in my sleep.
Do you write things down somewhere? Because I'm bad about going to the notes app on my phone. If I wake up in the middle of the night and go, there's no way I'm going to remember this. Let me just do this real quick because I will not remember it otherwise.
I don't do it. I should. I could write a book on my crazy ass dreams during this pandemic.
You said you had some.
I've had some wild.
It's going different on you, hasn't it?
Wild dreams, man. My dreams are just all over the place. I mean, I wake up with what? That was weird.
You think it's anxiety or mental something?
I don't think it's anxiety. I just think I have a lot on my mind.
My sleep patterns are screwed up. I used to wake up some at like 1 or 2, and that's okay. I've started waking up at 4. And at 4, I'm kind of done. Like, I might as well get up at 4. That's not good. At 12, at 1, at 2, probably can get back to sleep. 4? I don't know.
No.
It's kind of over.
I'm bad about waking up at like 1:50.
Okay.
And wide awake and telling myself, you got to go back to sleep. And I start playing all these games with myself in my mind about, I try to like recall the Cubs 1986 lineup or something, just something to bore me to sleep. I try not.
That's your version of counting sheep.
Yeah, I try not.
It's counting fourth outfielders for the Cubs in the 80s.
Or try to remember the girls' Webkins names, something that puts me to sleep.
Okay.
Because if I start thinking about work or something like that, man, I'm up. And then I start thinking, well, I ought to go ahead and get my exercise out of the way. And it's 4:30 in the morning, and I'm deciding whether to go run or not. That's dumb.
At 4?
Yeah.
Well, you're not actually going to go run at 4.
No, but I start thinking about it.
Well, I mean, with the heat, probably not the worst idea.
I ran yesterday at 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, you can call me as many idiots. I ran at 3 today.
I know you did. You're an idiot.
It's when I had time. I was called up. I said, you know what? It's going to suck. I'm going to sweat. I'm going to get back and feel like I'm having a heat stroke, but we're just going to do it. And
I cannot imagine because I ran 1 hour yesterday from about 5:55 until about 6:55. And at about 6:45, I don't know if you know this, but out at M Trade Park or whatever it is, they've got unicorns and dragons and mermaids and stuff all over that practice field. I was hallucinating. It was so hot. How long did you run?
About 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Something like that.
It was too hot.
It was stupid. I'll admit it. It was kind of dumb, but it is what it is.
Webb, thank you so much. He says, after Tubbs is elected to be a senator, who do you think is the next president? Houston Nutt with Hugh Freeze as the VP. Who would be the president? Who would have a better chance of winning a presidency, Nutt or Freeze?
Nutt's got a cleaner record. I mean,
yeah.
He's
Freeze has scandal.
Yeah. I mean, look, Nutt's got a little bit of stuff.
Not that Trump and Biden don't.
Okay.
Here,
no, Nutt is
little girl.
Nutt is more electable than Freeze.
Yeah.
At the national level, there's no. I mean, Nutt really. I mean, he had the whole TV reporter thing in 08 or 07, but that's it, right? Or whatever year that was.
Yeah.
06, 07.
Yeah, somewhere around there where he had all the.
I mean, it wasn't the best look in the world,
No.
but it'd be all right.
Whatever.
Yeah. It wasn't whatever. Yeah. As Matt Browning says, when COVID hits you, what president candidate you want in your foxhole? Was that Fresno week? Was Foxhole Fresno week? He was up about going to the West Coast and getting a win.
I can't remember.
He was all caught up in that. All about going to the West Coast and getting a win.
But there by the end, I just tried to avoid eye contact with Houston. I just wanted it to go away.
He said your name eventually. You got there.
He said my
just
name.
Took a while.
He said my name. The 2011 season at Kentucky, when I finally asked him, "Do you anticipate being the coach?"
But it was resignment.
Yes. It was oh
dumb.
hell, I'll say your name now.
I mean,
4 years the guy didn't say my name. He would call me and not say my name. He would say, "Hey, it's Houston."
well, he was really good. He was the champion. We've said this before. He was the champion on the podcast or on the website of all the updates are gone. It's like February 1st, and he's calling all the reporters going, "Hey, can I get a 4-star?" It's like, dude, we needed that in June.
He would call literally days before signing day after he had, killed me by giving all the stuff to other sites. And
You were still mentioned as competition yesterday, apparently.
Well, we were.
It's
13,000 times.
we avoided a lawsuit yesterday. So
He would call me and say, "Hey, what can we do to move up in the rankings?" And I'd be like, "Dude,
well,
it's done now.
flip a 5-star. That's
Yeah.
how you do it.
Might want to go buy a linebacker."
Good grief. I don't know. So why do you feel worse about football today?
Just stuff. High schools, Mobile. I saw the city of Mobile public schools not going to go in person. State of Virginia moved football to the spring. Just dominoes. No real reason. Nothing of significance.
But here's what we do. We hear some optimism. We get kind of excited about it, but then we sort of tamp it down a little bit. We hear a negative thing, and we're like, oh, that's coming true. Like, our minds are so screwed up right now that anything is just like,
No, that's fair.
I don't know.
I don't think I do a lot of that. I'm riding the I've told you this for a couple weeks. I feel like I'm riding the seesaw a little bit.
Yeah.
Up and down, up and down. Just I try not to think about it. I think we've got 2 weeks. We're going to know something in about 2 weeks.
Okay. Let's get into a little bit of this. We got a little food here. We'll try a little bit of it.
All right. You got the bag of chips there.
Yeah, I got that. We'll get to that too.
What am I trying?
Yeah, Chuck sent some of his favorite things from Japan. We'll start with the chocolate cookie, Choco chip cookie vanilla. Country Ma'am is the is the name here. Again, all this is from Japan. Was shipped over in
So these are Japanese snacks?
These are Japanese snacks.
All right.
It's like a soft chocolate chip vanilla cookie. It tastes like those not Toll House, the is it Keebler? The really
the one
soft
with the little elf.
Keebler. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it tastes like. This is their version of that.
Yeah, it tastes just like it.
Almost identical.
Yeah.
Not quite as soft. Just a touch firmer, and you get a little more vanilla kind of as you.
Maybe on the finish, a little more vanilla.
Yeah, I mean, not like your bourbon over there, but
It'd go good with bourbon. We're about to find out.
that's not bad.
No, it's not bad. It's fine.
That one's pretty good. So yeah. Anyway,
We were asked if we've invited Tommy Tuberville on G-Pits. I'll get Jay to do it. He likes Jay a lot more than he likes me.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Because he covered him longer.
What is lychee? Lychee. Lychee?
I don't know.
Lychee?
Tuberville always held the Ole Miss thing against me a little bit.
You think so?
Oh,
you
yeah,
wrote that
no, so
column. You went after
He basically
it
told me.
It is a small, rounded fruit with sweet white scented flesh, a large central stone, and a thin, rough skin. So it's almost kind of like a combination between maybe like a peach and a strawberry or something.
I'm going to hate it.
This is a Kit Kat, by the way.
Oh, I'm going to hate this.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
I can just tell you right now, I'm going to hate it.
Okay.
Oh, and it's white chocolate.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to hate it.
The smell is kind of pungent.
Oh, yeah. I'm just having a small bite. I'm not doing this whole thing. Sorry. It's
kind of a strawberries and cream. It's sort of what it tastes.
It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, weird little fruit's a good explanation there. I think that's right. That was okay. That wasn't as bad as I kind of thought it might be.
Salt lychee.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's not terrible.
This next one, Kit Kat Salt Lemon, is on this one. It's blue. You like lemon a little more than...
No, I like lemon a lot.
Yes, I actually did. I sanitized everything when it came in a couple days ago. That's why we waited till Thursday for this, even beyond hand raised guys, because I thought about doing it in the studio, but we kept this out and tried to do as much to it as possible.
This is salt lemon.
Lemon, yeah.
Pretty good.
That's not bad. It's got a really strong lemon taste.
Mm-hmm.
That's really not bad at all.
I did lemon, rosemary, salmon in the sous vide the other night.
Sous vide the salmon.
Yeah, it was
Did
good.
you still throw it in something to get a little crust or whatever? Or
Well, you seared it on the end.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay.
And it was, yeah, I like it better on the plank.
I still prefer cast iron with a little, but frankly, I think just Cavender's is where I'm at now with salmon. Just throw Cavender's on it, throw it in the cast iron skillet, put some sear on it, and then call it a day.
I like to get a plank hot, put it on the plank, let it roast, and just don't ever flip it.
Mm-hmm.
I just use salt and pepper. Grindhard says, open the candy, then Germex your hands, then eat the candy. I'm not that scared of it. If I get it, I get it.
Not going to that extent for this.
I mean, I'm really not. I don't mean that disrespectfully to the people who have it or whatever. If I get it and it takes me, Laura's going to make $1.5 million and she'll be dating somebody within 4 months. It'll be all right.
She probably doesn't already have them picked out like Jay does.
Mm-mm.
I mean, look, there's been a lot of G-Pit's really creepy stuff. His deal of I have like a lineup. I have like 5 ready to go.
And he told her about it.
Yeah, no, like,
Yeah.
it's not a secret.
Like he'd gone over the list with her. Bizarre.
I'm not going to try all the flavors, but these essentially are I think they're called high chews. I'm assuming it's like a Starburst type thing from Japan.
I was going to say, is it a
you
gum?
can pick no, I think it's going to be a candy like a Starburst.
I don't want pineapple.
Yeah, there's 4 different flavors. I'm doing strawberry, but you don't have to do strawberry.
I'll do the orange.
Okay.
I like strawberry fine. I don't like pineapple much at all.
Oh, God.
Pretty good, huh? You really make me want to put this in my mouth.
No, it's the texture. It's very hard to chew.
It's
the texture that's the issue.
Yeah, but it's got a bitterness to it right off the top.
Like, it gets stuck everywhere.
Oh, yeah. It's like a bit of honey on steroids.
Oh, good God.
What the hell is that?
It's like a Starburst, but it's not as good.
Mm-mm.
The profile is a Starburst, but holy.
I was all in on the Japanese until this.
Yeah, it's a high chew is what it's called or something like that.
Mm-mm. That's not very good. We'll be chewing this for the rest of the show.
Mark asks, allowing you to touch flag sticks or have rakes and bunkers. Locally, we are not. They have the PVC pipe in the bottom. Left them in, but Waverly was allowing flag sticks to be pulled. That's the only golf course I've seen that's allowed flag
You
sticks.
played Old Waverly this week, right?
Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah, they're the only. Maybe it's going around more, but yeah, that's the only one that is that's allowed plastics to even be pulled. There was nothing in the bottom of the cup there, but they're locally. Yeah, there's no rakes. You just do the best you can. You can even just pick the ball up, put a don't improve your position, but put it back in the bunker wherever you're standing on a clean lie, and then go from there. So yeah, let's see, what else we got?
I don't know. You tell me. I'm hoping you drive the ship tonight.
You're just here today.
I'm a little. I'm good. I'm here, but I've talked a lot, so I can't remember what all I've said.
Well, there was two main topics on soft verbal, right? That was the deal today.
Yeah, it was a good show. We talked about different recruits. We talked about Deshaun Ruffin some. We talked about what happens to kids if there is no season. We were a little prescient. We talked about if a season was moved to the spring, that top players would skate. That's already happening. I saw one of the top kids in Virginia said, "Hey, see you, I'm out." Stuff like that.
We have a content item tomorrow coming out with Zach. We did the highest ranked prospects of the era the other day, last week. Tomorrow we'll do just basically kind of like a favorites list. Still good players, but it's kind of some sentimental guys, some probably a little more Ole Miss angle to it as well. I know Zach's put his picks in. I have not gone in and looked at them.
I hadn't looked. I saw it was in the admin, but I haven't pulled it up. Zach's got a bunch of stuff in the admin.
Yeah, he's just waiting for some things to pop. But hey, that baseball coach hot board is no longer there.
Thank God. Thank God, because I almost punched that thing a couple of times.
Like publish?
Well, yeah, it was like
that
right
would create
there.
an issue.
Yeah, that would have been an issue. I would have had to go in and
Speaking of the DM thing, that happened to me once when I was at the Spirit. Overnight, a certain person published stories that were not supposed to be published. Woke up the next morning and it had been.
Oh, that's not fun.
A coach leaving for another job had been published when it was not time for that to actually go up yet.
Grindhard asked a really good question that I hope we don't have to answer.
What?
But it's something I've thought about, and I don't know the answer to it. He says, doesn't no season impact the class of 22 more than the class of 21?
Because they're losing their high school. Are you talking about college? What are we talking about?
I think he means impacts them as they go to college because there won't be as many spots available.
Just in general?
Well, does the NCAA, like guys who are seniors this year, if there's no season, do they grant them another year? Or do they say, hey, your clock ran out?
No, I think they would grant them the other year. I do. I think
he says high school. Doesn't no season impact the class of 22?
Yeah, you're losing your junior year.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's a good point.
That's 100%.
It's one of these things that I think we're just on the precipice of diving into, hey, what does all this mean?
This worried me. They're being safe. I'm not necessarily what I mean. This worried me, though, a little bit. So did you see this in the NCAA today, their next set of return to sport guidelines? Did you see this today?
Well, there's been a lot of it out, but go ahead.
Today at 12:29 p.m., the NCAA on their website says the NCAA Sports Science Institute has released the Resocialization of Collegiate Sport, Developing Standards for Practice and Competition to extend previous guidance and provide updated recommendations, blah, 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 blah. The guidelines are designed to inform schools in responding appropriately based on their specific circumstances in the best interest of returning to college athletes' health and well-being. Many sports require close personal contact and require specially crafted guidelines. Among recommendations put forth, daily self-help checks. Okay, cool. We're doing that anyway, I would assume.
Yeah.
The appropriate use of face coverings and social distancing during training, competition, and outside of athletics.
Wait. Yeah. They have to use face coverings during training?
It says the appropriate use of face coverings and social distancing during training, competition, and outside of athletics. So to some extent, that does sound like yes.
Okay.
Testing strategies for all athletics activities, including preseason, regular season, and postseason.
Okay.
Here's the one that's interesting. Testing and results within 72 hours of competition in high-contact risk sports.
Yeah, so in football, they're going to test them on Wednesday.
You're not going to get it back in time. Are we using the new? We think we get the new thing, and
they're using
or just the rapid results.
Supposedly, they're using it where if they got a positive, they could test them again to make sure it was a positive.
Okay. I saw Godfrey, I think, said in a Power 5 document that came out this week, once you're positive, it simply is a matter of symptoms going away. They do not retest and wait on the negative. Was the way
Really?
I understand. Let me go to his Twitter, make sure I'm right.
Because that's not the way I understood it.
Yeah,
There's a thing about if you have contact with someone who has it, it's a 14-day quarantine.
Hold on, what did he say? Let me find it. I think it was him. If I even have the wrong person, it could take forever to actually find this. But I thought that I was right, but maybe I'm not.
And you might be. I've read so many things today that my mind's
Maybe it wasn't him. I don't know.
my mind's swimming a little bit. I read Dellinger's story earlier today, which was really good.
All of his stuff is.
He had a pretty detailed. They had gotten access to the document before, and really broke it down.
Let's see. Let me see. I know it's bad pod, but I'm seeing if it was him even that I was looking at and not.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go. Oh no, hold on.
Just where I should sing a little bit, just to
Yeah,
sort
you
of.
should absolutely. Whatever the big songs were in high school, just go ahead and run through them real quick.
Like Jesse's Girl, Rick Springfield. That was my first concert. Was Rick
Oh,
Springfield.
sorry, I misread it. It was talking about if you got it once you were cleared, they are assuming antibodies, so you don't have to be tested again. Sorry, so you would only miss one round.
Oh, so we're going to assume antibodies with sports.
The NCAA guidelines correspond
Because everybody else is not willing to give us that benefit of the doubt
NCAA
anymore.
guidelines correspond in this area with the Power 5 document. Quote, repeat surveillance testing of someone who previously tested positive for the virus should not need to be performed. Get the virus, and there's no more need for weekly testing unless you're showing symptoms.
Wow. Well, that's an interesting comment because
Yeah.
there's been a lot of people that have pushed back on antibodies. A lot of people have said, oh, no, you can get this thing 2, 3, 4 times.
Well, that was per Ross Dellinger. That's what is in the document, and
Kind of makes you wonder about the teams that have had 40 and 50 cases.
so Clemson's whole team's pretty much
Well,
locked in at this point, huh?
makes you wonder.
I mean,
Who's led the country in cases so far?
it's Clemson.
LSU, Bama, Clemson.
Didn't Ohio State have something weird?
Ohio State's got a bunch.
Wisconsin, maybe? I know this is in the mic, but I'm trying to open the stupid pack.
What is that? Are we doing more snacks?
It's those chips.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
What do we have? Let's see.
You can show it to the camera.
Calbee.
It's pizza, right? Isn't there a piece of pizza on the front of that pack?
Oh, yeah. It is a pizza.
Yeah.
It's all right.
You know, not really a fan.
It's okay. It's good, though. It's okay.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, it's okay.
Beer guard today. What did you and Jeffrey talk about?
His married life. They made it 3 weeks. They're through all the hard parts. COVID, sports return.
His
He
2
was-
hours of trauma without being able to tweet last night when the check mark got knocked out.
Yeah, his panic. No, we talked about how he was under the impression that everybody should be watching the NBA about the return to sports. And I told him I thought it was more about Major League Baseball because the NBA is in a bubble. The MLS is in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Major League Baseball is not in a bubble. The Blue Jays are. The other teams are not. I mean, the guys go to practice, and they go home. And they're kind of on an honor system to, hey, don't be an idiot. And that season starts a week from today. And so if Major League Baseball can have 8, 9, 10 days of games, travel, guys staying in hotels, coming to the ballpark, playing a game, umpires, the whole deal, and not have massive breakouts and stuff, it might lead to some confidence among the people that are making the college football decision.
We'll kick
On
at
the flip
those
side,
chips.
if it's a disaster, it's going to be very hard for
Yeah,
college football to go. Oh, it didn't work for Major League Baseball, but it'll work for us.
Yeah, we'll kick at the end of that.
Go Heat.
Just a little pop at the back. It was pointed out we didn't talk about it the other day when we were together. The monument's been moved to the cemetery. Not gonna spend a lot of time on it, but I will say, and this is just human interaction 101 here. You had a little exchange on Twitter. I had a phone conversation. As I admitted, I kind of like Ann Twitty, frankly, from the conversation we had.
I don't know her,
but they get the monument moved. The headstones are not part of the beautification or whatever you want to call it for the cemetery. They won. They got that right, and it was the right move too. The way those bodies are buried, you could not dig into that area at all.
so no Six Flags over the Confederacy.
It appears not.
Okay.
Look, could the press release been a little more clear on that's actually what was going on? Sure, because I mean it was pretty vague. Like I had to call somebody, be like, so this means no headstones, right? And if I had that, have to get clarification, then hey, it probably could have been a little clearer there. But in the days since, there's been a lot of but you're not acknowledging how you did this or who did this, like whatever. And it's like, okay, you got what you wanted. When you get what you want, stop. That is human interaction 101. Is when someone says yes, you don't keep talking. You just end it, and then you go to the next thing. Because at bare minimum, what you've done is when you want to go after something else or you have another pursuit, right or wrong, it might be very honorable. I'm not saying it's not. People aren't going to listen as much because even when they did it, it's just on and on and on and on and on. I mean, that is the fewer words you can say to get something accomplished, the better chance you have of getting the next thing accomplished.
Uh-huh.
And it feels like there's a huge disconnect here where I feel like they moved the monument, they don't put headstones in. I mean, from a standpoint of, they didn't take the donors' money. I mean, there's a lot of wins here for all the people who fought a long time to get this done.
But there's an inability to say, hey, okay, cool, it worked out. This is what it should have been. Awesome.
No, they want an extra level of apology. They want an extra level of, well, you didn't do it this way and this way and this way and this way. And if you're not done yet, move on. Take the win and then go from there.
This is why the people who are on the other side of this, and for the record, I'm not one of these people, but I understand what they're saying. This is why they don't want to give an inch, because they feel like if they give the inch that was requested, they'll want another inch. That's what she said. That it will just keep going on and on and on. That there's no finish line.
Some worker could have just let the thing fall off the truck on the way over the day, and the whole thing would have been...
Oh, I've always said that. Oops. Sucks.
So that rope wasn't tied? Oh.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, other than maybe some light so it doesn't
I thought I tied a slip knot in that thing. I did.
All's well that ends well. Yeah, I don't think it's Six Flags over the Confederacy. I not putting headstones in. It appears that to most
how can you put headstones in when you don't know who's where?
Well, no, that was wrong. Yeah,
right.
Because it was going to be just a line of headstones.
Forget the Confederacy part. It's just you don't know who's where.
Well, I mean, I think it was in the story about Jim Barksdale. I think he said that some of the bodies they thought could be as shallow as 6 inches underground.
That's a problem.
If that's true, yeah, frankly, the whole area should be cordoned off.
Yeah.
If that's accurate. And now, look, I get it's been how many years, and I understand composition and all that stuff. But either way, kind of just don't want anybody in the area at all if that's the case.
Right.
It is the dangest thing, though, and it's just – I think if we weren't in a pandemic, this would have been even a much of a bigger deal. But think about this. They moved a monument. We dealt with the headstones, phrases like Six Flags over the Confederacy. Somehow they pissed off Jim Barksdale in the middle of this. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
there was a Bull Durham
everywhere.
moment in this.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you get done, and it's like, so what actually happened? Exactly what they said was going to happen. Like, it was all this noise and all this static, and then what actually happened was, because I do think, look, I know Don Barrett and some of those people were very pushing for the headstones. I do think some of this stuff was simply to get it passed through the IHL. Some of those renderings, some of that different stuff, it was, hey, let's just get the votes, and then we'll figure it out.
You think it kind of goes away now?
What is that or it or whatever?
Well, the stuff about the statue getting moved to the cemetery and all that. They're gonna move it to the cemetery, and that's gonna be the end of it. You think that'll go? It'll go away.
From a statue standpoint, yeah. Now,
They
will
still
there be
have the
something
base
else?
of the statue, right? Do you put something on top of the base now, or do you eventually take the base down?
You take the base down. What are you putting up there?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you. What do you put on top of that base?
You want to have a contest for the new center of the campus monument?
I mean, seems like this would be the perfect time for Muddy the Catfish, wouldn't it?
Put a big catfish on top of the monument?
Or go ahead and fully embrace Tony the Land Shark.
I've noticed that I am not anywhere near as passionate about it because I've got a lot of feedback the last few days of people that absolutely do not want to let Rebels slide.
Oh, I have too. I've gotten that from a few people in the last couple of
I mean,
days.
sane people, like,
Yeah.
not like whatever. And I mean, I guess I get it. It's not something that bothers me.
Well, the consensus that I've gotten from the people I've talked to is if you, quote, give them, I don't know who them is, but their words, if you give them Rebels, they'll go after Ole Miss next.
Well, no, you make that clear up front.
And I'm like, yeah, but that's the whole point.
I mean, they can go after it. They can't get it. You have to seed it. I mean, it's not like somebody's going to come in and kidnap Ole Miss in the middle of the night.
Right.
I mean, Ole Miss is on everything. Even the email address, much to some people's chagrin. So,
We're on in Zach Berry's household.
are we?
Yeah, they've got a real,
Got a setup going?
well, they have a real potential marital problem going on, Zach and Anna.
Why's that?
Well, I mean, we dive into it on the Soft Verbal podcast. I recommend that people listen to it. There is a rumor that an Anna Berry, was the way it was said, it was Anna Berry, was trying to purchase Malachi Bennett's services for South Carolina.
Oh.
And I did not realize that Zach's wife, her name is Anna.
That's correct.
Which could be Anna, and that could be a problem.
Zach would not appreciate that.
No, Zach was upset about it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not.
So, I don't know. Terrible news for them. When football divides a household.
We got newlyweds over here with Jeffrey. We got whatever's going on with Zach and we got a lot of stuff going on, as we said.
JM Rebs 14 says, what do you think of Ole Miss's recruiting class this year? I would highly recommend that you listen to the Soft Verbal podcast. I asked Zach the question on the podcast. I said, if I were an Ole Miss fan and I looked at the rankings today, 82, 84, I would be concerned. Would that concern be valid? And Zach gave a very well thought out, complex answer. So I would listen to the Soft Verbal podcast presented by DeadSoxy.com. I contend that on the field and in the recruiting that this is a 0 year for Lane Kiffin. It's a 0 year.
It's a zero year, except for if everybody else, if not a new staff at least, recruits to a somewhat normal level, you're just that much farther behind or farther behind.
I get it, but they had a strategy, and the strategy was based on normalcy. I mean, I think you can compare them to Mississippi State, Arkansas, and Missouri, and that's it. That's it. You can't compare them to Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia. That's not fair.
Well, we know the season does not matter. 0-8, 1-7, 2-6,
No.
8-0.
No.
Who gives two?
No.
I mean, talk about. I mean, I know we had like some depression and stuff, guys, but we're not playing therapist on hand raised guys after a loss this year.
No.
We're partying and popping champagne because that bitch was played.
Absolutely.
That is it.
Yep.
I mean, we might get a pinata if we get like halfway through the season and everything's.
Matt Browning says you could be the only campus with a can opener statue. That's true. This is such a perfect time to get rid of the land shark.
They're not getting rid of the land shark right now.
Well,
you know that, right? Do you think there's a path here, or do you think they're stuck with this thing?
No, there's absolutely a path.
Ross and Michael being gone, is that good enough to give them a shot?
You can blame it on them.
But it would be them.
Yeah, but that's what you do when the new president comes in. He blames the old president.
It's the strength coach thing.
Yes.
Strength coach is great till the strength coach sucks.
The strength coach is
and the
great.
new strength coach is the best strength coach in the history of the world.
Until he's fired, at which point he was completely clueless.
They did not get bigger, faster,
and the new
stronger
guy
in the
understands
offseason.
all of the latest things.
Tech savvy.
Yeah.
Body chemistry, kinesiology.
The new president blames the old president.
It's just the way it works.
Yeah, and nobody even gets offended. You say that was a stupid idea by Ross and Michael.
And it was a stupid
And it
idea.
was.
We're not even lying.
And in fairness, it's true.
Well, we had Michael on this podcast. I was sitting right there on what used to be a couch. And we're going, yeah, but Michael, just a big fluffy stuff thing. Well, we wanted to really no, you don't want an athlete. You just want to, because he was expecting like the dude to dunk and all this stuff. But it was like
he was thinking about professional mascots, not kids dressed up as a mascot. No, now's the time. Clean break. Those idiots before us. They'll all get a laugh about it the next time they get together in Destin. It'll be all right.
You know, Ole Miss used to do those great commercials. I guess it was with them when they first came out with the bear. They copied kind of like some ESPN stuff where they had the bear do all kind of stuff, and it was sort of those. You know, kind of like it's not crazy. It's sports commercials and whatever. It's what you would do for the shark. You get rid of him, you get the fluffy thing, and you like give him some suitcases. You put an A&M jersey on him, and you film him going out the door. That's what you do.
Oh, exactly.
He got a College Station bus ticket in his hand.
Yeah,
and he's headed on out.
See,
and you film that son of a gun, and you put that on YouTube or wherever else you put it.
Everybody would laugh, and it would be funny. Even Michael and them would laugh. They might be a little pissed off, but they'd laugh.
Yeah.
Chuck and Jenny, thank you for the snacks. The pizza snack has a little heat to it.
It has a little heat.
But the
cookie was really good.
The cookie was really good.
Yeah.
There's the Choco chip.
And the lemon
Cocoa
and
cookie?
the lemon
The lemon Kit Kat was good. Yeah, the lemon Kit Kat was good.
Mm-hmm. So,
Josh Tolbert says, sorry I'm late, guys. Cleaned our local gym so we don't get COVID. You're welcome, Neil. I hadn't been to the gym in a couple of weeks. My concern is I get it. I give it to the kids, and the kids have to start the year in quarantine.
well, yeah.
Not me getting it. It's me giving it to them.
When's the last time you went to the gym?
Before the beach. I've used my resistance bands here lately.
Just in the driveway.
Yeah, and I've done some Peloton stuff.
You got a nice shirt for that soon.
Yeah, I know. It's a little tight.
You want to try it on?
I don't think so.
No, I mean the tank top.
Oh no, I'm not
You
trying
sure?
that. Yeah.
I mean, we'll step out if you'd like to put it on and come back.
No, I'm good. I'll give this to one of the girls. It's very pretty.
Looks like something they would have worn in Rocky 3.
Is that Misawa? Misawa Air Force Base?
Sounds good to me.
Misawa.
You think it's
Misawa.
Misawa?
Misawa? I don't know. I'm not fluent in Japanese.
So, do you think the season starts by 1st October? Do you think we're talking about a football game by the first day of October?
I'm going to be optimistic and say yes. I think it's an 8-game season, at most a 9-game season. My guess is it's conference only. Either an empty stadium or 20 to 25%. Very little, if any, tailgating allowed. Survival season.
So, you think there's a possibility for tailgating now?
Very little.
Grove?
If you told me that you could tailgate in the Grove if you had a game ticket and you stayed socially distanced, I might buy it.
Let's say for the heck of it, because 50%, you're getting a lot of people in the stadium. Not everybody, but a lot. Let's say it's less than 50%. Would you contemplate on telling people, even if you don't get a ticket, you get a Grove ticket?
No.
Okay. So it's full fan experience or nothing.
Yeah, I just don't do anything that could increase the odds of a problem where I get a problem.
So you're limiting people.
Yeah, I got to survive. This is not a normal season. We've said this a few times. It's not going to look, if we have one, it's not going to look normal. It's not going to sound normal. But that's a survival. That's path to surviving.
The chocolate one's even better.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I still don't expect any Grove for whatever reason.
So.
When it gets down to it, I just don't expect Grove. Because here's the deal. Are you going to say you can go into the Grove, but you can't walk from tent to tent? You can't walk back and forth? I mean, you get into these issues.
Who's policing this?
That's my point.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to make sure there's only 10 people in an area or under a 10 or whatever?
I don't want to be the person that has to do that. Like Caroline, my daughter, works at JCG. Is that what it's called? The T-shirt place?
Yeah, graphics place.
And people come in with their mask all crooked. Or is she supposed to say something? Come on. What is she going to do? Chocolate really good.
The chocolate's really good.
Mm-hmm.
The cookies are good.
Mm-hmm. Bourgeois. Bougia. Choco chip. Cookie cocoa. Country ma'am.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Elves. The soft.
I loved those when I was a kid. They still make those?
Yeah, I'm sure. What was the candy you hated as a kid?
So it says I'll be on the Peloton tonight. I did do a, what's the guy's name? Ben Aldis. I did a 1 hour Ben Aldis ride this afternoon, so I'm okay. The candy I hated as a kid?
Yeah. Like your grandparents always have like Werther's or Fig Newtons or something that you couldn't
I
like
did
stand.
hate Fig Newtons.
Oh, you don't like Fig Newtons?
My grandmother had these nougats covered in like a white, it wasn't white chocolate. It was, I loved those. She hid them in her freezer, and I would sneak them.
So they weren't hid very well.
Nah,
She didn't just store them in her freezer?
I guess she stored them in the freezer. We weren't supposed to get them. They were wrapped in this gold wrapper, and I would sneak them. She probably knew we were sneaking them. My favorite childhood memory of candy is when I was a little kid in Monroe. My mom would take us to Dodd's Bakery in downtown Monroe.
Okay.
And we would get gingerbread cookies with chocolate chips instead of raisins.
Okay.
Fantastic. I loved going to Dodd's
A gingerbread
Bakery
cookie with chocolate chips.
instead of raisins, like for the eyes and the nose.
And you don't like raisins.
Not really.
Yeah.
But, they're fine. I mean, I can eat them. I'm not going to lose my...
But you don't like an oatmeal raisin cookie. It's not doing anything for you.
It's not my favorite cookie. I can eat it if it's the only cookie and I'm starving and I want a cookie, but it's not my favorite cookie. But the gingerbread cookie with the chocolate chips was awesome.
I don't know if I've ever had a gingerbread flavored cookie with a chocolate chip.
Oh, it was so good.
I don't. Yeah.
It's my favorite. Going to Dodd's Bakery, I look back on it now. My mom, if we went to Dodd's, my mom was in a good mood. It was a happy time. And we'd get the little circular cookies that had like a Hershey Kiss in it.
Yeah. Oh, they're called crap. It's still a Christmas cookie with tons of people. What are those things called? What's the little
I don't know.
shortbread cookie or whatever it is?
It had a little Hershey's Kiss in the middle of it, kind of thing.
It's like something drop or what is it?
I don't know. Maybe it's a chocolate drop.
What's it called?
Do you remember circus peanuts? Those were horrible. The little marshmallow thingies.
My grandmother kept those in a bag, and like you had to really want some candy to go get those. I mean, it was.
I'm sure we've had this conversation in the past. Are you a candy corn? Yes or no?
Oh God, no.
It's bad.
No interest. No licorice. I'll eat like a Twizzler or something, but no like actual licorice.
Well, like the red Twizzler's fine, but like licorice. You know what's funny is it Italy where licorice is a delicacy?
Oh, really?
People like really love it.
What's interesting about it is most people, as much as I love them, a lot of people don't like Sazeracs because they say that taste is very licoricey.
It does.
And I don't like licorice, but I mean, Sazerac's my favorite cocktail.
I like a Sazerac, but you're right. It does have a certain licorice flavor, but it's not overpowering.
I don't notice it, but a lot of people say, especially if, and I don't know what
it kind of has a little of that
is.
star anise.
I'm assuming it's
flavor.
if the absinthe is not rinsed out of the glass. Is what's
Yeah,
causing
yeah.
it.
It has star anise, the spice. It has a little bit of that.
Okay. What was Jay doing today, by the way? He sent us that.
He's in.
What's he doing?
He's in Gatlinburg, isn't he?
Is that where he's at?
I think so.
So he was at some establishment drinking the 2-ounce old fashioned.
He's in Gatlinburg with a giant gathering, so I fully expect Jay will come back with COVID.
Good, great, awesome. Is he wearing a mask?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
City.
Well, no.
It doesn't.
Jay's always like, man, you never been to Gatlinburg? And I'm like, no, it doesn't appeal to me at all. And he's like, oh, it's awesome. And I'm like, why? And he's like, there's lots of places to eat.
But they all suck.
Yeah.
You're not getting culinary in Gatlinburg.
Yeah, there's multiple people.
You're going to the pancake pantry.
Multiple people say Jay says lots of places to eat and poop.
I got scarred because my mother loves Gatlinburg. So as a kid, we go like twice a year. And by the time I got in high school, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm never going to Gatlinburg again.
Yeah.
I've gone and seen the saltwater taffy or whatever it is made plenty of times. You go out to Cliffs Cove and maybe there's a bear, maybe there's something. You go to the pancake pantry. I'm good. I mean, it's old person Disneyland. Like I'm all right. It's gonna be okay.
Chuck says he's been in Italy for 4 years, not familiar with them liking black licorice. I don't know what country it is. It might be like Iceland or Norway or somewhere, but there's some country where licorice is like a big deal.
I have no interest.
No.
It looks like Holland is big in the licorice.
Maybe it's Holland. There you go.
Holland is big in the licorice.
I knew it was somewhere. Italy, Holland, it's all the same.
Our customer, there's a Beehive Licorice. It is a company. You apparently can order it online. Says our customers who are true licorice connoisseurs love licorice from Holland.
Okay.
They're big on the Holland licorice.
Good for them.
Yes, them.
Supposedly it's different than the licorice that we get here.
Says there's a pleasant honey aftertaste. See, we get no honey aftertaste to our licorice. They try to bitter us out.
I don't know if you know this, but there haven't been sports in 5 months, and I've watched a lot of Food Network.
I don't know that I've turned it on.
What do you watch with no sports?
I don't watch TV. Like I'll watch a show, and I've got a few different things I'll watch show-wise, but I can't tell you the last time that I've turned the TV on and just like flipped or just tried to find something to watch. No,
yeah.
I might turn it over to the golf channel if I already know what's on. I might flip to the movie channels and look for some kind of movie that have seen or not seen. But otherwise,
So Laura says we're getting rid of DirecTV.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know. Our neighbor did something. I can't remember the name of it right now. And then someone mentioned Fire Stick. I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna do something. You want to take calls in a minute?
Yeah, sure. You want to take some calls?
Let's see what the people want to talk about.
My
Well, it's because you throw it on the ground. You're reckless with your headset. I mean, it is totally your fault. Avery says YouTube TV. I've heard that a lot. Leif says YouTube TV.
I use Hulu TV, but I mean, it's just take your pick.
Zach says YouTube TV. So that's 3. Okay. Avery, Leif, and Zach. That's a pretty good trifecta.
There's a mix there
that's a strong cross section of yeah.
And I never even tried YouTube TV.
Matt Browning says he has YouTube TV and loves it.
Yeah, I went straight to Hulu without even trying YouTube. So
Leif says you can try it out for free. That's a positive.
I may just be going without a ear guard because that's not going to come on right now without me really paying attention to it. It's just going to hurt. That's okay. It's sitting weird on my head. But
that's a line from For Love of the Game. This is going to hurt.
Yeah, it's in the ninth
inning. In the ninth inning when he says to himself, "I'm gonna let one go here. This is gonna hurt."
Told you I watched it the other night. Went all the way through it. Clear the mechanism.
Josh says he has Hulu and YouTube TV. Both are great. Oh, it's a Roku stick. Yeah, our neighbor has Roku.
Yeah, I have I use Fire TV or the Fire TV little thing for
Okay.
ours, but
So there you go.
yeah.
Hopefully Laura's listening and she can take advice. I don't want to be the one that makes this decision.
Just try them both. Why wouldn't you do that?
All right, we'll try whatever. AT&T has cable? PC Rebel says we have AT&T cable and then Fire Sticks with Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hulu. Zach says TCL TVs have built-in Roku.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have a built-in Fire TV in the bedroom, but I don't even know what kind of TV it is. I don't remember. Maybe it's an LG. I don't know. Anyway. All right, let's see. Calls. The lines are open. I'm putting the number on the screen now for people.
all right.
So, is Bubba not with us tonight, obviously?
I don't know.
Not ringing. Hope it's not messed up again.
I don't see the number yet.
Well, I know, but he already knew it. It was saved in his phone.
Oh, okay, I got you.
He didn't need that.
ATTU versus fiber optic cable TV. Okay, yeah, that just got to my neighborhood.
It's 2590991, right?
That sounds right.
Okay. So did you get a review on YouTube versus Hulu?
It's kind of going on in the stream right now.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think Bubba's with us tonight. It would have already come in by now.
He might be on a repo somewhere.
Out on a call.
Yeah, it could be.
Might have went all the way
Hopefully
over.
nothing's wrong with senior or junior.
Might have to gone all the way over to. Well, he's from Ripley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, anyway, most talk numbers there. We have baseball in a week. Basketball still 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Right.
Baseball starts on the 23rd. Basketball starts on the 30th. So yeah, a week and 2 weeks. Sports is supposedly coming back. MLS is playing now. It's awful.
What do you mean?
Well, if you watch English Premier League and then Serie A, or however you say that, Carson would correct me, and then you watch, which is the Italian Soccer League, and then you watch Major League Soccer, it's like watching a NFL game and then watching a high school game.
So we're that far behind in our professional soccer.
Yeah, it's bad.
Is it worse because they're just out of – they're rusty or whatever? I mean, is there some of that?
I don't know. I just think it's talent. Oh, yeah. Leif sent us something. See?
Oh, we got something else? Okay.
All right. So while we're waiting for calls, Leif sent us a package. Leif Benson. There's a lot of wood in here. Leif, you're going to have to help me with what the wood is. I think he told me in an email, but it's been a week where I've gotten hundreds of emails, and I may have forgotten. The wood. Yeah, it's all talent. It's just English Premier League is just better.
Okay. Just hold on a second before you pull it all out. We got a call. We'll come back to it in a second.
Worried about it. Oh, there it is.
You're getting worried about it.
Well, I thought there was nothing else in there, and I think there was supposed to be something else in there, but there it is.
Okay. What's going on?
Hey, Neil and Chase and Bubba, how y'all doing?
You're late. What happened?
Bubba, everything okay?
Yeah, I'm just my wife came and I'm about my fifth Miller Lite in, and then realized, oh Lord, I got to call y'all.
Yeah.
But she brought Ultra tonight, and man, it's horrible beer. So it's like drinking water.
Yeah.
But
it is water.
anyway.
Have you tried that new?
Yeah.
What is it? Was it Busch Light, or who was it come out with the apple beer this week? Was it Busch Light?
No,
Is it Busch?
I haven't seen it.
You hadn't seen this?
I'll tell you how bad.
Stop.
No,
What?
I'll tell you how bad this Ultra. What?
No, go ahead,
I'll
Bo.
tell you how bad. I'll tell you how bad the Ultra is. Senior, normally I'll give him a beer. He'll sit there and bark at me. It's so bad. I gave him one, and he drank about a third of it. And that's it. He just went over, looked at me, laid down, licked his butt, and I said, "I feel you, brother."
He
but
was
anyway,
sad.
yeah, he was sad. Junior, he'll drink anything. He's a sweeter, dumber version of Senior. Unfortunately, he has no shame.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've got some good news and some bad news.
Bad news first.
Bad news
always.
first. Bad news first, always.
Okay, well, the grandkids came from Alabama, and they just about burned my place down. They little hellions lit the shed on fire with fireworks. Unfortunately, I got the John Deere out. Mary ran over and she tanned her hide and sent them back to Sulligent. But anyway,
I was going to ask where they were from in Alabama, and Sulligent would have been very high up on the list of guesses. So okay.
Oh yeah, but the good news is the Senior's out of the cone of shame, and he's doing well, and he made it out.
That's good.
But no repo news for me. But I did get exposed to the Rona. I had to get a Corona test with a swab. I tell you what, man, that was like a hot poker night getting that thing done. I hope you boys don't have to get it, but anyway, I slept 2 days out on the porch. So I got the results back, and I'm good. So, but other than all the mosquito bites all over me,
Your eyes water? Did your nose bleed? How bad was it?
So Mary made you sleep
I'll tell
outside
you what.
while you waited on the results?
Yep, she wouldn't let me in the house. So she's like, So anyway, she's petrified of that. I feel like I had to get some kind of suit put in to go inside. So anyway, that's really all that's happening with me. I'm glad you boys had a good vacation, Neil. You got some sun on you. You looking like the rich man you are. And
Yeah.
hope glad to see you boys are back. And
Rich until there's
got
no
one
football.
question.
Won't be rich after that.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I know you boys have said a lot of things. What are you hearing from Ole Miss? I'll hang up, and I really appreciate you boys, and welcome back.
Appreciate it, Bubba.
Thanks, Bubba.
Well, I mean, nothing really yet. Everybody's in a holding pattern. The SEC is trying to wait. They're doing the best they can to hold
they're
off
gonna
and
wait.
hold off. There's been talk, at least, of the ACC and the Big 12 kind of doing a little package deal to keep to preserve a lot of games between those three conferences that were already set.
Look, if you're going to do an 8-game schedule,
Okay.
you have time. You could wait till the first weekend of October to start and play 8 games. Hell, you could wait till the middle of October to play 8 games.
And now they're not going to do that.
No, but you've got time. You can chill a minute. You don't have to do this right away.
Yeah. Who's on the line?
Frank, how you doing?
Hey, Frank, what's up?
What's up? Just sitting up here in New York listening to you guys. And
is this
appreciate the
Coach
show
New?
and everything. Yes.
Hey, Coach.
How are you?
We're good.
Good. So, what do you think? We're going to play football this year or not?
What do you think?
Overall, I think we are. I think there's the best team to play are the service academies because those kids are in the bubble. They're not going out Wednesday nights and Thursday nights bar hopping. You know, they're stuck in. So
Yeah.
I think those are the safest guys to play.
Well, you know what? It's kind of interesting. And Oklahoma is certainly not a service academy, but if you look at them today, they tested, I don't know, I can't remember the exact number, 105. Let's just call it that number. That's close to right. And they had 0 positives.
Yeah.
The other day, Kentucky, which is not a service academy, Kentucky tested 166 people, including coaches and staff and all the players. No positives. I mean, I think there's a lot of positive news, not positive tests, but positive news. I do. I think I don't want to get on the conspiracy theory because everybody in my field gets mad at me, and I get it. But there's an over dramatization of this, in my opinion. I think there's a path to playing the games where the kids are safe.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's funny. I don't know if it's funny, but, you know, everybody keeps talking about the Ivy League, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the Ivy League, I mean, up here, I posted on the message board, lacrosse up here in the Northeast is real big.
Right.
And Yale played in the 2019-2018 championships. They won one. And this year they had the number 2, 3, and 5 team in the nation. Those teams compete for national championships, unlike the rest of the Ivies. And they didn't cancel the season until the last minute. So don't tell me, oh, they're out in front. Yeah, they're out in front when it didn't matter. But when they had teams that could win a national championship, they were just like everybody else. So I mean, it makes me laugh when people talk about that. And you were saying about, I think it's all a lot of it's financial. I mean, you had Keith Carter on, and he said, you can't bring, we need half the stadium full. So if you bring in a team for, I don't know, who's Southeast Missouri or whatever they are, for $1.1 million, say, and then you're going to lose another $300,000, you might as well say it's a natural catastrophe, as the Northern Illinois AD said, and so you don't lose. You're going to lose on top of what you lost.
Yeah,
and have to.
Chase said this earlier, Frank, and I agree with him completely. I think at most it's whatever the conference schedule is, and I think 8 is more realistic than 10. Chase can correct me.
No, I'm good.
And then if you tell me they play one non-league game against a Power 5 team, whether it's Baylor or whatever, it's that. I think the other games, the Southeast Missouri, and hell, I don't know who else is on the schedule. I can't remember. It's been years.
Connecticut was.
Yeah, I don't think those games happen. I don't think there's any chance those games happen. And so when people say, like, the MEAC today announced that they're not going to play fall sports, and everybody's like, oh, God, see, another domino. I'm like, that domino has nothing. That domino doesn't impact the Power 5 at all.
Right. I mean, those teams for the most part lose money anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if when people say there's a domino to fall, the dominoes are the Power 5 leagues, Notre Dame, and arguably BYU.
Right.
That's it. I mean, otherwise, and I mean this with no disrespect toward the Group of 5 at all, but the Power 5 can survive without the Group of 5. Oh,
yeah, with that, and like I'm much older than you guys and probably your audience, but when I was growing up, the Group of 5 had one bowl game. It was like the Tangerine Bowl. That was it.
Yeah.
Now they're all over. So they've grown a lot. So, I just think, like you said, everybody's out in front and doom and gloom, and like you said, all these teams are testing positive. But if, God forbid, 3 guys they test positive, 3 test positive, it's all over the news. But if, teams, have great slates, nothing, crickets.
Frank, you want a great example? It was from yesterday. There was a race held in Bristol with, 30,000, 25,000?
20,000, yeah.
20,000 fans. It was not news. The media didn't touch it. And so everybody goes, Neil, you're
Even
wrong.
the race headlines didn't have the attendance finally being there.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
It's like, wait a minute, hold up. So that's not news?
I totally agree. But, like I said, you guys are like you said, hand-raised guys with common sense. Yeah, unfortunately, we're not in that realm right now with a lot of these takes.
So what's the deal with the service academies? What do you anticipate with them doing?
Well, the AD came out, Buddy said they're going to try to play 12 games because unlike civilian universities, these kids only get 4 years. They're there to be officers, so he wants to get 12 games. But, you had Princeton and Bucknell are out, so right now they're down to 10, so they're going to see who they can, possibly get to play. I know Oklahoma is supposed to come to West Point
this year.
So we'll see. This year, yeah. So we'll see what happens with them, because that's going to be that's a huge game. And Oklahoma wants to play in Michie Stadium. They don't want to play. They want to be at West Point and play.
Mm-hmm. I would love to go to a game there.
Oh, you guys should come up.
Yeah, I'd love to go to a game at West Point, and then I shouldn't say this with you right here. I'd love to go to a game in Annapolis.
Annapolis is really nice.
Yeah, I'd love to do both of that. That would be awesome. That'd be like
and
people talk about bucket list stuff, Frank, and for me, that's kind of, if I think about it long enough, those are sort of bucket list deals. I'd love to go to a game at West Point, go to a game at Annapolis, and then I've always, and I'm going to do it the next time they play. I'm going to go to the Army Navy game because I just think it's awesome.
Well, you got to let me know, and come on up and we can get some tickets and go.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Bring you right up there. You know,
I'd love to see
wild.
it. I'd love to see it. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, especially if you win.
Well, fair,
fair enough.
I would tell you, I don't want to keep you from your other calls. My first year coaching sprint, we won the championship, and we finished like 6-1 because at that time sprint wasn't as big as it is now. And I'll never forget, I met an Army, a West Point alum, and he said, "Oh, I have my sprint shirt. I goes, you coach sprint, or know anybody?" I go, "Yeah, I'm one of the coaches." He said, "I said, oh, we won the championship," and then he just said, "Did you beat Navy?" That was it.
Yeah.
Did you beat Navy? So. But I don't want to keep you guys. Great talking to you. Great listening to you guys, and I hope to talk to you soon again.
Great hearing from you. Hey,
absolutely.
Carson's been wearing the Army shorts and the Army shirt throughout the summer, so thanks
good.
a lot.
Oh, good. Yeah, Dana, my youngest is the equipment manager for basketball, so we'll have to grab some more stuff.
Yeah,
excellent.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate you.
Okay, guys. Have a great night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Great guy.
Awesome.
Fantastic guy.
Turned me into a Napoleon Army guy.
Oh, yeah.
Army-Navy thing.
I'd cheer
like,
for
hey,
Army in the Army-Navy game.
Yeah.
I was like, why? And I'm like, well, I have this friend up there that's an Army guy.
Yeah, you haven't heard of the Busch Light apple?
No. I'm sorry.
What? Why are you laughing?
Well, I'm not laughing, but no, I haven't.
I mean, it's already Busch Light as it is, and now we're putting apple into it as well. But yeah,
it's
so
disgusting.
yeah, like I found a story here. And
What do you
it's
put,
talking
like a
about how
Jolly Rancher down in the bottom of it and see what happens?
The quote from their VP of Value Brands at Anheuser-Busch. You know you're good when you're in the value brand category at Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah.
Says the development and launch of Busch Light Apple is one of the most significant moments in our brand's 65 years history. We tested this flavor and knew immediately our fans would love the crisp, refreshing taste. And if you go to the website, it says Busch Light Apple is a refreshing light lager combining the crispness of Busch with the light sweetness of apple flavor. It's like the sound of refreshment meets the taste of the orchard.
Yeah, sure.
Have no interest.
So Leif sent us some bourbon-soaked planks.
Oh, okay.
And then he sent me some, he says this is bourbon that is older than Carson.
Okay.
He can't tell me where it came from. So there's one for you, although you're being a good little boy over there.
I basically stopped drinking.
That's your problem.
No.
You're the one talking about Busch Light Apple, not me.
I am kind of curious now, though, what this is. I mean, now we got a little bit of a treasure hunt going on. So
It looks pretty.
that's got a good color to it.
It does.
It's like, what else do we know about it? Is Life still in our thing? Do we get a proof hint at least, something?
I don't know. I don't know if Leif's still here or not. Leif might have had to run off to one of the kids or something. Yeah, they're telling you to fall off the wagon.
Yeah, I saw that. Good influences, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't stopped drinking. I just don't think about it. I don't know. It's weird.
Leif says you would know the brand.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
About 114 proof. Well, it's getting into my kind of territory.
It's not quite hot enough for you.
Yeah, it's
You need like
little-
144.
a little mild.
Chase, like, you got any Everclear with some caramel color?
Don't even cut it. Just pull it straight from
Yeah,
the barrel. Whatever. It's all.
You got any 200 proof?
Yeah, it's all good.
Strike a match.
Yes, we are getting shirts. The pandemic has affected shipping and ordering tremendously. There are tons of issues with that. Guess we could have done some things a little more local and probably made that work a little better. But hey, it is what it is.
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm about pandemic'd out.
Well, it's shipping and postage has been affected almost as much as any industry as far as the delays and the things on different things and whatnot. Like I ordered a couple golf clubs probably a month and a half ago, and it was supposed to take 7 to 10 days, and it took seriously like 6 weeks to get them. Because you're also got stuff on the processing end, because they're not putting as many workers in factories and around one another.
Yeah.
So all the manpower is down on that end, trying to get stuff done. So yeah.
Leif, do I need to soak the planks, or are they good to go?
Yeah, are they already soaked and you're good?
Well, they're soaked in bourbon.
I mean, you definitely got to soak them in something to not burn them, right?
I would think. He says he cooked a brisket on them.
Oh.
That's fascinating. Because you would think that the wood would burn up over the course of the time for a brisket. He says they're good to go.
Okay.
Interesting. So Matt Mott, the Ole Miss soccer coach, is a big sous vide guy. And he's been giving me all these.
I saw that's how he cooked his shoulder against Malloy, right?
Yeah.
In the competition.
So he took his shoulder to like 150 on the sous vide, and then he finished it on his big green egg. Matt Mott's setup in his backyard is phenomenal. It's really cool.
We had him sitting here, and he was already worried about it because I'm using just as an example of what I don't think is going to happen. How many shakes am I going to give Malloy tomorrow when I mention his sport with potential cutting or anything as an example of what?
He hates me, and I really like Chris, so I feel bad about it all. But I think they're okay. But we need football to happen, man. I mean, there's no joking about it. I mean, we need football to happen. Everyone needs football to happen. It doesn't matter what your record is this year. This is a one-off year. We just need the games to be played, the TV contract to be met, and at some point we've got to learn how to live with this damn thing. Not to get preachy, but at some point we have to learn how to live with this thing. This zero risk policy doesn't work. Life doesn't work that way. And I don't want to get preachy as I'm kind of trying to catch a buzz here, but it doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that. If it's going to work like that, then don't get in your car.
Mm-hmm. PC Rebel says, "Do you like watermelon flavor?" Because he has a cocktail recipe. Be interested in that.
I'm okay with it.
Wait, are we talking about like fresh watermelon, or are we talking about like the liqueur stuff,
or like the Jolly Rancher watermelon?
Yeah. I saw who replied. Ravel replied to
Ravel
you.
replied,
okay.
yeah.
He always does.
We had words. And then he did the deal where he intentionally misspelled my name like it was an insult, which is the equivalent of what a 11-year-old girl would do. What a puss.
Mandel didn't write back?
Mm-mm. Nice. No.
Ravel's like not even human. Like it just.
Well, did you see his take on the Redskins thing today, or the Washington NFL team, whatever we call
the
them?
Snyder thing?
Yeah. I mean, he was like, "Oh, that won't be enough to take him down." It's like, hey, man, that might not be what you want to read into that story.
Yeah, give it a read if you'd like, but
fresh watermelon juice.
I'm all in.
Are you?
Yeah.
Everyone else in my family loves watermelon. It's not my thing. I don't hate it. I can eat it if I have to, but like I would never volunteer to go, hey, I'll have some
on
watermelon.
vacation one year, and the place was at did a watermelon and jalapeno mojito.
Oh.
They got the spicy and the sweet. Really, really good. I mean, excellent.
I saw a great, it was a Cathead pecan vodka mule recipe.
Oh, we found something for it. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds delicious. See if I can find it. Here it is. I'm waiting for my internet to go. There it goes. Oh, let's see. I'll have to find it in a minute. Sorry. It didn't pull up immediately.
Okay.
Oops.
Yeah, I don't like the artificial watermelon taste, but if we're talking about actual watermelon, then yeah, we're good.
Got to put
banana.
Plenty of salt on it. Yeah, no thanks on the banana. I'm good.
I don't see how you can not like a banana daiquiri.
I cannot like it by not liking it.
It makes no sense.
I don't like a strawberry daiquiri either.
So you don't like? Do you like a real daiquiri, like the lime?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The lime, the rum, and the simple syrup.
But if you start putting a bunch of stuff in it,
no, I'm talking about just
lime, rum, simple syrup.
Yeah, that's it. And I've said this too on the thing. It's how you rate a bar. You walk into a bar and you go, "I want a daiquiri," and that's all you say.
No, that's fair.
And if they go strawberry, and you go, "Okay, never
I'm
mind.
out.
I'm done. That's it."
Or you can say I'd like an old fashioned, and if they start muddling cherries, you're like, "I'm done. Just give me a beer."
Heavy on the club soda and pouring it all.
Give me a beer. What beer do you have on tap? Thank you, sir.
Well, I told you I walked to the place in Oxford that night, and I said, I wanted a Sazerac, but I said, do you have any absinthe? And they said, well, we have Absolute. And I went,
You're like, no, I'll have a Coors Light.
yeah. It's like, so what bourbon on the rocks are my choices tonight?
Yeah, what bourbons do you have?
Yeah. No, in the summer, it's hard to beat a really well done daiquiri in the summer. That's way up there. That could get me back into it again. There's no doubt. So I don't know. Let's see. Your Thunder are going to win a series, maybe? What do you think?
Yeah, I think they might win a series. Yeah. So here it is. It's pecan.
Okay.
So it is 1 ounce of Cathead pecan vodka.
Okay.
A half cup of ginger infused simple syrup.
Okay.
A cup of club soda. A fresh lime squeezed. 2 lime wedges. It's basically a mule. You bring the sugar and the water. You make the let's see. That's about it. You fill 2 copper mugs with ice. Pour a ½ ounce pecan vodka over ice in each cup. Add a 1/4 cup of ginger infused simple syrup in each cup. Add a ½ cup of club soda or sparkling water. Juice half a lime in each cup. Garnish with the fresh lime wedge. Stir and enjoy. It's a little too much simple syrup for my taste. I would probably change some of the. The ratios. I'd add more vodka. Use less simple syrup.
What do you do in the daiquiri? Usually it's, I think, 2 ounces rum, almost an ounce of lime juice, maybe 3/4 of an ounce, and just a hit of simple syrup.
I always bring the lime down to about ½ an ounce because otherwise it can be too tart.
Okay.
And then
so you're basically doing a rum martini almost at that point. We're
a little bit.
Just pouring a lot of rum in a glass and hit it with a couple things.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You just change the ratios, but it's the same principles.
Where do you fall on Manhattans?
I like them going down my throat.
Okay. Are you ordering one?
Not before I would order an old-fashioned or a Sazerac, but if you told me, hey, we don't have those, we can make a great Manhattan, I'm like, okay, I'm in. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Usually rye instead of bourbon is the thing there. I get, if somebody's trying to make it with bourbon, it's a little too sweet. I like the rye for the spice a little bit more than Manhattan.
Yeah. I like rye in an old-fashioned.
Oh, yeah. No, much preferred.
Big time.
Because you're already doing so much else to sweeten it.
Yeah.
You need that little bit of that kick or a little bit of that finish.
It balances out, makes it great.
It either's got to be a pretty high-proof bourbon with some complexity, which, frankly, you shouldn't be making them old-fashioned with to begin with, or a rye.
And, frankly, sometimes you get a rye that's really, really good, and you realize that, you know what, I don't really want to put all this other stuff in it. I just want to put an ice cube.
The good rye is like that. The problem is that a medium or a bad rye will get kind of
that's where you want to use a medium rye for an old fashioned.
What's what I mean? If you told me, hey, you get a bottle of whatever that you can kind of find, it's Midwinter Night's Dram rye.
Yeah.
From High West. That's one. I mean, that's what I want. That's my favorite.
And then you're not messing with it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Probably I'm drinking it neat.
Yeah.
Probably not even putting an ice cube in it.
Yeah.
Most likely something like that. So yeah, no, not even a little bit. This is the date DiMaggio got his 56th straight, or hit in 56th straight game. July 16th, 1941.
Crazy.
For that one. It's the record that won't be broken.
I do remember when I was a kid, Pete Rose got to 44 games. He lost it in Atlanta, I think. The Braves got him. It was a big deal.
Should be a Hall of Famer? Yes, no.
Pete Rose? Yeah.
Would you vote for him?
No.
You wouldn't?
If you ever go into a Major League Baseball clubhouse, it's rule number 1. Don't bet on baseball.
4,256 hits and not in the Hall of Fame.
But was he a great player? Of course.
Yeah.
He's a great player. But if the one that is not in that I would put in is Barry Bonds.
I don't know that I would vote for him or not. I don't think so because he annoys me even more because he was a Hall of Famer before it. You know what I mean? Like, I almost have a little bit more empathy for the guy who's just trying to hang on and whatever than, I mean, Barry Bonds was going to be that 40-40, year in, year out superstar.
He was going to be a multi-time MVP no matter what. Yeah.
It's that part of it that I can't.
He got bothered by the McGuire-Sosa attention and started doing his thing.
I just don't. I don't think I could vote for Bonds. I really don't. Wouldn't have voted for Palmeiro or any of that.
Oh, no. Because Palmeiro, if he doesn't cheat, he's Mark Grace. And we don't ever talk about Mark Grace being a Hall of Famer.
That's probably a good comp.
Yeah, they're the same guy. They came up in the same Cub system. They traded Palmeiro because he was sleeping with Ryan Sandberg's wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was a problem.
We got asked this on Twitter the other night. Who do you think Billy Chappell was modeled after?
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
So the name that initially came to mind, and then I went, no, it's not him because it was too early, was Justin Verlander.
Way too early, though.
Way too early.
I thought if you told me who.
You said Clemens.
No. I said Glavine. I thought he was Tom Glavine.
A right-handed Glavine?
Well, because Clemens was, I think it was Matt that said it. I get it because he had kind of that mentality and whatever. And we're talking about a superstar. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
We don't know his career stats, though. We know he won a World Series.
But based on the movie.
He won a Cy Young. He won an MVP.
Yeah, based on the movie, Billy Chappell was a star.
Yeah. And he had to be incredibly recognizable.
At the end of his career.
Like, not just a little recognizable, but.
No.
So it's got to be that Clemens, Nolan Ryan type.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it didn't feel like he was a strikeout artist.
Before the hand injury?
Well, now maybe before that. Maybe he was.
Because he was before the hand injury. And then he had to learn how to pitch.
So he became a little more of a sinker ball guy and all that.
Yeah. He had to learn how to exercise his craft. He was kind of a Jack Morris Tigers guy.
Okay.
The guy that kept coming to mind for me was, and I knew it was wrong.
Because his career in the movie spans from 81.
Because he would have won the 84 World Series.
81 to 2000-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Tigers won it in 84.
The glory days of baseball.
Yeah. And I guess you're around 19 years. You win 300 games. I mean, you're going to be recognizable everywhere you go. At least back then.
Back then, yeah.
Yeah, right. But like Greg Maddux never came to mind. I thought about Hershiser, but it wasn't a long enough deal there.
Yeah, Leif said Hershiser. That didn't come to mind. I don't know.
I mean, it's not modeled after anybody, but it's just.
Yeah, it's not. It's really good though.
Here's what's funny, and
it has a Verlander current feel to it.
I took a little deep. It does. I took a little deep dive on this. They were talking about, they flashed his stats up, at the start of the game or whatever, like the telecast.
Uh-huh.
And he'd pitched like 220 innings. I mean, still been a workhorse.
Oh yeah.
It's like 220 innings. He was 8-11. But this is the height of the steroid era, okay?
Uh-huh.
He went 8-11 in the AL with a 3.5 ERA.
Yeah, he was getting screwed. I mean,
dude.
His team was not
a
scoring
3.5
runs.
ERA in 2000 in the AL would have been like 17-2.
Yeah.
That dude's not losing.
No.
Because they're hitting bombs everywhere out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, he walked too many to have that ERA. It was like, I forget what the number was, but it was like 100 and something versus like 90 walks. Like, it was a pretty tight K to walk ratio. But, yeah, I mean, that was.
Yeah, still.
I took a little deep dive.
At 40 years, throwing 220 innings.
Oh, no, that's a horse.
That's a horse.
Yeah.
That's
why they kept him around.
That's taking the ball every fifth day and earning your keep.
He's still probably selling some tickets.
Yeah.
He's going to fill up the innings. Like the Tigers are going, yeah, we're cool.
Yeah.
Ride this thing out until you want to get traded to the Giants.
Yeah.
What are the Giants thinking? Why do you want the 41-year-old?
Why are you trading for him of all people?
They think he's still going to sell tickets? Because, I mean, the Tigers are clearly cutting Gus Sinski at the end of the year.
Oh, yeah.
He's out.
Sinski's out. He's selling cars.
Mickey Hart's on his way out.
Yeah.
Billy told us that.
Yeah.
They'd already traded Simon Birch. I mean, we got a lot of stuff going on here. I mean, it's
the Scarecrow.
Kevin Tapani.
Oh yeah, certain Kevin Tapani flavor to that. It's amazing how far baseball's fallen. Amazing. Because when I was a kid, man, Jack Morris was a superstar. Modern day Jack Morris, a modern day John Smoltz is a nobody.
I actually looked up the stats. Musina didn't win enough games. Mike Musina had a hell of a long career.
Oh, yeah. It has a Messina flavor to it. That's a great name.
But didn't win enough games. I thought about that one. I looked it up. Let me find it here. This is actually kind of interesting for Musina. We're just talking at this point. And I get wins don't matter. I'm not being that guy. Mike Musina only won 20 games one time, and it was his very last year.
Yeah, he was on my fantasy team for about 11 years.
Yeah, I mean, he went 270 and 153. I mean, hell of a career.
Yeah.
But I got to feel like Chappell won in 300 games. And he was injured in 95, 96. Well, he was, had a hand injury.
Yeah.
He come back for a while.
Well, it's circular saw.
But we're talking about 80, we're talking about 81 to 95. Probably won 300 games.
Yeah, probably. Messina could have. He pitched for some bad Orioles teams.
Yeah, because I've actually got the equivalent. Well, no,
He was from that town in Pennsylvania. Where was he from?
It's Pennsylvania.
Montoursville.
Sure.
What happened in Montoursville that was so tragic?
He was born in Williamsport. Off my thing I have here.
He's a coach now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like a basketball coach, a girls' basketball coach or something.
He only went 13 and 10 in 98 with a 3.4 ERA in 98. So that kind of speaks to it a little bit. The next year he goes 18 and 7 with a 3.5 ERA.
Roy Halladay. Certain Halladay quality to Billy Chappell.
Halladay kind of found it into his career a little bit.
Was a stud.
Nobody better there for a while.
That Roy Halladay Phillies Cardinals game, I think it was Chris Carpenter. One of the greatest games ever played. The Cardinals won. It's a great pitched game.
He changed an arm motion, Halladay.
Halladay, I can't remember.
Didn't he?
That John Smoltz, Jack Morris Game 7 NLCS game or World Series game was phenomenal.
First memory.
Yeah, Josh asked, remember when Kerry Wood busted onto the scene? I do.
Neil's very well versed in that one.
Very. Kerry Wood's last game, 2012, Ole Miss was playing baseball at Vanderbilt. I sat in a hotel room in Nashville and watched the end of Kerry Wood's career, and it got a little. There was people cutting onions in that room for some reason. Never saw them, but I could feel the onions in my eyes.
The NLCS would still be the one sports game you would want back if you got to change one, right? Even though they won in 16? Or has it changed because of that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Would you rather have a Thunder win somewhere?
Maybe.
Would one win change something?
Maybe so. I might change. Knowing what I know today, yeah, I would change. The Thunder would beat the Warriors in that Game 6. The Klay Thompson game wouldn't have happened. The Thunder would have held on and won. Because I got to enjoy the World Series win with my family.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have had that if they won in 03. It wouldn't have been the same thing. It was the coolest sports moment of my life was in my driveway with my family, my wife and kids. Everybody was so happy for me. I mean, the only other person in the family who's that big of a Cubs fan is Carson.
Had I gotten one game back, it's got to be the Rams in a FC Championship game. That's it.
Yeah, of course, because they would have won 2 Super Bowls.
I think they would have won.
Yeah.
I think they beat the Patriots.
Yeah,
they're the best team in the NFL.
They'd have 2 Super Bowls. And it
fully encapsulates that era.
Yeah. You could close the window on it and go, hey, this was awesome.
But my point being, it's that one. It's not 06. Because that team would have been they would have had their hands full with Peyton and the Colts in the Super Bowl. They would have been an underdog that day. When the Bears beat the crap out of them in Chicago.
Oh, yeah. They would have lost.
That's not the one you want to take.
No, they would have lost. They would have lost in the same way the Bears lost. I covered that team. That team was not a champion.
Yeah. It's the Rams game, and I couldn't pick that one, it's the loss in San Francisco in 2011. Because they would have come back home and played the Giants in the NFC Championship game.
And probably beaten them.
Because they'd already hammered the Giants on Monday Night Football because I was at the game earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And then they played the Super Bowl. That's It's one of those two, but it's Matt Browning says the LaSalle game would be his. Bet there's not a lot of people that would pick the college basketball game for Ole Miss fans.
I can see that, though. That LaSalle game may have cost you a Final Four. We've been down that road.
Yeah, that one or the Valpo one. Either way, brackets opened up. You had shots both times.
Yeah.
It was right there.
Big Ben says, is the Cubs window completely closed? I don't think so. Not necessarily.
Obviously, I would like Laquan to not have broken his leg, but I don't pick the Auburn game there because they still had Arkansas. I think that thing still goes sideways on them in 14. I think.
Maybe.
You think that changes?
That's a show we probably could do if there's no season. A deep dive into the 2014 season where we go game by game by game. If they beat Auburn and Laquan doesn't break his leg, that Arkansas game's different. I don't know how different. We'd have to really dive into it. I'm not in a place to do that
Everybody's saying
moment.
4th and 25 down our stream right now.
Yeah, I get that.
Because the majority of Ole Miss fans would rather have 4th and 25 than LSU 03.
Yeah, well,
because it gives you a playoff opportunity.
Yeah, I mean,
now you have to still feel like they're going to win those two games coming up after. Does
that
change some mindset things?
That's the other show we can do is do a deep dive where we get realistic and piss off a bunch of people and really dive into what would have happened had 4th and 25 not happened.
Mm-hmm.
Had Ole Miss won that game in overtime, I guess it would have been the end of regulation. Had Ole Miss won that game, how would the other games have played out? Because it would have been different. I think they still win them on surface, but that's a show we could do. We could dive in deep on that season.
It's Valpo or LaSalle for basketball. Football, it's one of those two.
Yeah.
It's 4th and 25.
Yeah, and baseball is the Evan Button.
No, it's not. It's Game 3 against Texas. Because let Mike get to Omaha
I don't remember that
to try to win.
Okay.
Because you wonder if he gets there in year 4 or whatever it would have been, or year 5, if everything kind of changes after that. Also, that was the best team in the country, and you're knocking out the national champions. So they go to Omaha as the favorite and play through Omaha as the favorite. That 09 team, I argued this with Zach, from a fully healthy standpoint, it's the best team Mike's ever had. I'll die on that hill. But Biddle was hurt, so I don't know if they're running it through.
Well, when Biddle was healthy,
they're the best team in the country.
For those few weeks, they were the best team in the country.
Yeah. Because he was throwing on Sundays.
Yeah. They had Pomeranz and Irwin and Biddle, and they actually had bullpen arms, and they were brutal.
Yeah.
What would have been the part of the Ole Miss Arkansas game, if you change it and you say Ole Miss goes on and wins the SEC, where we got cheated, that's a bigger picture than what would have happened with Ole Miss, is what would have happened with the playoff. The committee had to take 4 teams, and they either were going to screw Ole Miss, Alabama, or Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Or Oklahoma. I can't remember which one.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. But they were going to have to screw a big boy or Ole Miss. And Ole Miss had that bad loss to Memphis. It was bad. But Ole Miss had beaten Alabama in Tuscaloosa. And Ole Miss in this scenario would have been the SEC champ. Alabama would have been 11-1 with a loss to Ole Miss, and they would not have been the SEC champion. And the committee was going to have to sit there and hey, someone pass me the dope. I mean, this is an impossible decision because, quite frankly, if you think about it objectively, if you're the committee, there's no win there. Because if they put Alabama in it, I've got a criticism. Well, Ole Miss beat Alabama.
In Tuscaloosa.
And if they put Ole Miss in it, I've got a criticism. Ole Miss got beat by 3 touchdowns at Memphis.
Yeah.
So that would have been the fascinating thing from a debate standpoint. You would have been able to take either one of those teams and make a very compelling argument against them. The argument against Alabama is very simple. Ole Miss went to Tuscaloosa and beat their ass.
Yeah.
The argument against Ole Miss is very simple. Ole Miss got mauled at Memphis.
Got mauled at Florida.
Good teams don't get mauled at Memphis. Yeah, but they would have canceled the Florida thing out by beating them. But the Memphis loss would have been the big, giant boil on the side of the face that it doesn't go away. It's like, yeah, she's gorgeous, but look at that.
It wouldn't have been Cindy Crawford's mole.
No, it would have been a boil, like with pus coming out of it.
Abscessed.
She's hot, but man, look at that. It would have been an impossible argument. In my opinion, Chase, and I've said this for a while, in my opinion, that decision, however it was made, would have led to an 8-team playoff 5 years ago.
There's a group in here that say 0-3 Ole Miss because it guarantees it. You've won the West.
Yeah, but
they'd have played Georgia in the SEC championship game, and if you win, you play in the Sugar Bowl against Ohio State.
Somebody, but you don't win a championship.
No.
Now, here's where it's different. Eli wins the Heisman. And so you have a Heisman Trophy.
You think he wins the Heisman?
Absolutely, absolzay.
Stats don't change. Nichols just hits 2 field
I don't
goals.
give a damn.
2017.
He wins. Eli wins the Heisman.
8-0 in the league.
Eli wins the Heisman.
Okay.
No doubt. Is that bigger than a national championship? No.
But you have to – it's the safer pick.
I guess, kind of, maybe. It's the sentiment. It's the sentimental.
Because the person that's not that errs on safety goes, well, you're changing some mindsets. What if LSU just comes in and pops us the next week and blah, blah, blah. I mean – now, Ole Miss ran LSU out of the building that night.
Yeah. My gut feeling is that Ole Miss doesn't lose to LSU, and then Ole Miss still goes to state and ruins Prescott's senior night.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ole Miss destroys Florida.
Because it's Trent Harris at that
point. Yeah, my gut feeling is that Ole Miss is the team that gets into the playoff, and either Alabama or whoever it was, Oklahoma or Ohio State, somebody gets screwed. We're one of those teams who are like, wait, hold up, what?
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Memphis. But I think Ole Miss gets in. And frankly, I think Ole Miss makes a run. Because the Ole Miss team that played in the Sugar Bowl that night, they beat everybody.
They're good.
They beat everybody.
Yeah, because everybody was kind of locked in at that point.
But the argument against Ole Miss, and I know I'm doing an Ole Miss show here, the argument against Ole Miss would have been damn compelling, and it would have led to conversations, because the Ole Miss got mauled at Memphis thing is an impossible thing to put away. And so if you're Ohio State or Oklahoma or Alabama, whoever got left out, they'd have been like, yeah, but they lost at Memphis. We would not have lost at Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
They lost at Memphis. And the argument, and the response to that is, well, that's fair. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where we got cheated in that game. If you told me I could change one game, it's that game for that reason. I would love to have seen that debate.
Grindhard with a good point. 2015, Memphis lost to 6-6 Auburn in the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a horrible loss.
Oh, yeah. 15 was when Bama just beat the hell out of Michigan State in that semifinal.
Yeah.
The night before Ole Miss and Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Because I saw like the first quarter in a bar somewhere before we went out for New Year's Eve.
Yeah. It's a complicated deal. It would have been a no-win, there's no right answer for the committee there. And I think that would have led to an 8-team playoff.
We thought we were skipping the Memphis game that day just to cover an easy win. We ordered some pizza. Just thought, this will be a hangout day.
Well, we were going to go, and then they told us we didn't
have seats.
We had to sit in the stadium, and I was like, screw that. I'm not
seriously,
doing that.
like in the stands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to run a marathon the week before, and I was not in the mood.
Oh, had you?
Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. No, we can do those. We can do those shows. There's no doubt about
Hopefully
that.
we don't have to do them in that scenario, but yeah.
They can be add-ons, not
Hopefully.
replacements. Yeah, I don't want to all get together Saturday at 3 o'clock in October and go, we're going to play a replay today.
No.
Here's
No.
1992 Liberty Bowl against Air Force. Have a good time, guys. Yeah, I wouldn't play Memphis anymore.
I wouldn't play Memphis anymore for sure.
Yeah.
No way.
Play Tulane. Go to New Orleans. Have a
Yeah,
good time.
sure, of course. You play them 10 times, you're going to win 9. Or 10.
And stop playing Southeast Missouri and start playing Alcorn State and Jackson State.
Yeah, of course. Play Valley.
Tell them to bring the band.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's have a good time.
Yeah. Win the game. Have some fun. Keep the money in the state.
Ole Miss fans would much rather play Jackson State and have the Sonic Boom come into town than they would
Of course.
play Southeast Missouri or Northern Illinois or Eastern Illinois.
Of course. Keep the money in the state.
Yeah.
No doubt.
About all I got. I don't see anything else necessarily sitting in the stream.
If anybody else wants to call now.
Yeah, you got a couple minutes. Neil will have some food for thought tomorrow. I'm working on something that I'll finish sometime in the morning. Mostly done. I got a couple things to add, but for the most part, it's fine.
Could be the Green Wave versus the Flood. The Water Bowl.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with something, but that's fine. Let's see. Yeah, just stop playing them. I was supposed to say just win the game. No, just stop playing them.
No, just don't play them. Nothing to be
There's
gained.
no reason. Frankly, the way they try to treat Ole Miss about basketball, too, and making that such a difficult thing, not the hell with you. How about it?
Move on.
Yeah. I'm a big completely finished. So, anyway. All right. We got plenty coming again your way tomorrow. Ryan Brown already up as well for another podcast. So take advantage of that. Listen to he and Mr. McCready over here. And we will be back with you very, very soon. Have a good night.